Okay, good. So the broadcast has started. Screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you pass it on to me so I can see, so I remember how to do it?
Jeff, do you have the ability to do that? Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yeah, just did
Yeah, perfect.
I'm going to pull off my second screen here. Right, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. And make presenter. I'm back to you then, Jeff.
Okay. Thank you. Now, am I handing it over to you, Jonas, when I've finished my little intro?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then
So,
let's see. Can I just test it? See if
Should I hand it over to you, Vincent?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. There we go.
Show screen number 1. Yeah, that's the one I want to show. That's what I want to show.
Good.
Are you seeing this?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, great. So you can take it back.
I think you have to.
So you
I
have to hand it back to me.
Jeff.
Let's see, where do I do that?
Underneath attendees. Then right click on Jeff.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, make presenter. All right. Did that work?
No.
Maybe I have to stop sharing first. Make. Still not? Oh, there. Yes. There's
Yep,
like
I got it.
I have my screen from a laptop and it's like I kind of tucked it away and it's like very tiny OK box, OK dialogue. It's like, do you really want to do this?
I've got less than 1 minute to the hour, so.
Yep.
And as mentioned when we discussed yesterday, we'll keep the sessions as short as we can, so there is no reason for us to drag it out, and save some time if there's any questions, etc.
Okay. All right, that's the top of the hour. So let's just give it another 30 seconds or so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're going to get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silect Software Opslogix, Save Time and Money, Managing Your VMware Infrastructure. Really glad you're all here to join us. A few housekeeping topics for you before we get started. If you have any issues during the webinar, you can certainly email us at silect.com. For immediate questions and answers, we want them, and we want to make this interactive with your questions, so send them via the chat window. We will be sending a survey out at the end of this, and if you could complete it, we'd really appreciate it to see what we did good and what we could improve for future webcasts. Also, I will note that today's session is being recorded. We will send a link out to everybody that registered, also attendees, so if you want to watch it in your free time, that's a great way to pass the time. So my name is Jeff Thorpe, and I'm the Director of Business Development at Silect. And joining me today are two industry experts in the System Center space, Vincent DeVries and Jonas Lenton, and they are going to do a really good overview of the VMware Management Pack from Opslogix, all of its value and how you can get it up and running quickly, and then how you can save some money as well. But before I turn it over to the Opslogix guys, I wanted to just talk briefly about Silect. So Silect's been around for a long time now. Been in the System Center market for over 17 years and was really in on the ground floor. Longtime partner of Microsoft and member of many alliances and programs, including the System Center Alliance and the Azure Management Elite program. This is all really important for ISVs like Silect and Opslogix to have really strong, deep relationships with Microsoft so that we can understand where they're going with their products. And that allows us as software developers to deliver complementary products that we can go to market together to our mutual customers. I'm sure most of you are familiar with some of the Silect products, but just quickly, some of the products that Silect offers include MP Studio, which is helping you reduce the complexity of System Center, giving you visibility and control over all of your management packs. MP Author Professional for really advanced authoring and development of management packs. The HIPAA Compliance Pack for continuous compliance monitoring and remediation for all of your data that is under the HIPAA umbrella. And also, we have a variety of community tools, MP Author and Sentinel Security, but Power BI Dashboards is a newer product, very interesting. It's for deep business analytics from data collected from both on-prem and the cloud, presented in crisp, clean dashboard format. Silect also has extensive professional services for custom development and Power BI work. Can't forget that semi-annually, MP University, the flagship event for Silect, is a full day of free training on System Center and Azure, and it always attracts a lot of people to attend, but it also has excellent guest speakers from Microsoft and other key partners such as Opslogix. And speaking of Opslogix and why we are co-presenting on a webinar, back earlier this year, Opslogix and Silect partnered to make Silect Opslogix premier reseller in the Americas, exclusive reseller in the Americas for their products, especially the Opslogix VMware Management Pack that we're going to dig into today. So that's just a quick little overview of Silect. And now I am going to hand it over to Jonas to take us through how to save time and money with your VMware Management Pack.
Thank you, Jeff. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Great. So my name is Jonas Lenton. I work here at Opslogix in Sweden, and together with me I have my colleague Vincent DeVries sitting in the Netherlands. And we are going to discuss a little bit about our VMware Management Pack, to give you a brief introduction, to give you some history about it, and then Vincent is going to show a little bit how you can easily get started. Just a couple of minutes to get up and running with your monitoring of your VMware management. So just to start with, a quick introduction about why you should actually monitor your VMware environment and VMware vSphere. So there is no secret that virtualization has become standard for most companies. We have transitioned from traditional to virtualized and now recently containerized deployments. For organizations utilizing VMware as their virtualization platform, vSphere is a critical component in the delivery of their primary IT services. And we at Opslogix encourages organizations to use Operations Manager to monitor VMware vSphere in the same way as they do with other infrastructure and application components. And by providing central monitoring capabilities for your IT operations, you enable your organization to quickly respond and prevent any outages in the virtualization platform. This also enables you to get better return on investments already made in Operations Manager without implementing yet another tool. So let's talk about the Opslogix VMware Management Pack. But before, I think it's interesting to always talk about the history of it and how it was created in the first place. I think it was back in 2012, the joint effort Army project between a couple of the European countries was initiated to provide business critical monitoring of their spooled up VMware environments. The VMware environment enabled a robust and reliable military LAN and WAN command network and was an indispensable cornerstone to the project. They explored several options, including competing VMware management packs and other VMware monitoring solutions, and Opslogix was contacted and took on the challenge of developing a more lightweight and cost-efficient alternative. Our approach focused on security and performance while minimizing any system resource drain, all while maintaining the functions VMware customers deem essential in terms of monitoring. And it took almost 1 year, and later in 2013, the Opslogix VMware Management Pack was born. And as a result, our VMware Management Pack delivers business critical monitoring for VMware components at a fraction of competitors' price. After almost 10 years of development, the solution is used in organizations of all sizes and industries all over the world. And I think we had almost 40 releases over the years. So quick recap of this is that we are a trusted and evolving solution since 2013. We focus on the business critical side of the VMware monitoring to enable you to actually find and triage problems in your whole IT environment. The VMware Management Pack is designed efficient, robust, and lightweight. It's easy to deploy and it's easy to use. It's cost-effective, scalable, and enterprise-ready. And we apply high security standards with a zero-touch policy. And we need to discuss a little about the licensing. And the licensing model is very simple. Each physical CPU in your ESXi host require a base license. The first year of support and assurance is mandatory and will be added to each socket upon purchase. And then after that, each sequential year, you will only be charged with the cost of software and insurance. And this includes free support and access to new versions of the software. If you want to know how to actually find the number of sockets within your environment, you can always visit our site and look in our knowledge base, because there is a lot of articles there explaining how the licensing work and how you can actually find the number of sockets that you have in your environment. Let's discuss the architecture a little bit. And as mentioned before, our management pack is designed efficient, robust, and lightweight, while still easy to deploy and easy to use. From the beginning, we always kept SCOM in mind when developing the VMware MP. And this is to keep as low footprint as possible in SCOM, but also in vCenter, because in larger environment, this is very, very important because of the intense workload that you actually add to SCOM. All the components are installed out of the box when you configure the management pack and require no manual installation. The VMware MP communicates with the vCenter or directly through the ESXi host using a secure API channel using HTTPS. And for the communication, we only require a read-only account to request the necessary metrics from the hosts. And to keep the management pack as lightweight as possible, we have developed an optimized collector that enables a lot of smart caching and other functionality to actually lower the data being sent between the vCenter and SCOM. These collectors utilizes the SCOM resource pools, both for load balancing and high availability. And we do support that the VMware management pack runs on either a SCOM management server or on a gateway server. If you want to get started, it's very easy. You can actually just visit our site. Under our product site, we have the VMware management pack, and there is a button there where you can just register and enter your information about the company and your SCOM management group. We will then provide a key. It's an automatic process. It will take maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You will receive the trial key and instructions how to download the software in the email. After that, you can just unzip the files and install and configure your solution. Worth mentioning is also that we do offer free onboarding services for people who want to have help to get started, and also if you are transitioning from another solution. So with this, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Vincent, who is going to show how you get started and up and running and go through the basics of the management pack. After that, we will spend the time for any questions that you might have. So feel free to just pop in all the questions you have, and we will answer them after the demo.
All right, thank you, Jonas. Let me just share my screen. I hope you're seeing the correct screen. Jonas, can you confirm?
Yes, you can see 2 windows.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so where Jonas left off basically is where, you know, how easy the management pack is, how easy you can install it. And the management pack is really made up of well, a couple of management packs, like most of the management packs are these days. So as a philosophy, we have here at Opslogix, we want to bundle everything into the management pack so that you do not need to deploy anything separately. So you do not need to install separate installers manually on other servers. So basically, when you import the management pack into Operations Manager, basically that's all, and it'll do all the deploying of components for you. So let me briefly walk through all the management packs you can import into Operations Manager, because you can monitor a lot of different components in VMware. So let me just get started here. Basically, what I did is Jonas was talking about a zip, which you can unzip when you start a trial or when you purchase the management pack. Basically, that's the same when you go from a trial to a production version. The only difference is the key. So when you trial it, you have all the functionality you have when you run it in production, or when you have the full version, so to say. So first of all, we have some generic reports management pack. We use these generic reports for all of our management pack. We also have Oracle management pack, Swift, and so on. And it's a shared library for that, so that comes with it. We have a licensing dashboard, which I'll show you in a moment. And this is basically where you import the license key for all the management packs. Then we have a licensing monitoring management pack. So basically what you have is you have licenses in VMware, and a lot of especially enterprise customers would like to monitor the licenses they have in VMware to see if they're still valid and for all their ESX hosts. Then we have the VMware base management pack. This is basically where all the classes for SCOM live. So basically, if it's a template for for instance, your ESX hosts, your vCenters, and so forth. We have a bit of capacity analysis. We have monitors for that. So in VMware, most of you are familiar with the term of overcommitment of resources, and this monitors that for you, so you can get alerts on that and monitors on that in SCOM on VMware. We have the collector management pack. So basically what we do is we deploy a very lightweight collector to the servers which need to do the monitoring, and this is the management pack that deploys it. We have the configuration dashboard where you do the configuration for your VMware management pack. I'll show you that in a moment as well. And then we have the dashboard management pack where we supply some of out of the box dashboards which we think give you some good information. We have the VMware guest monitoring management pack. So you can monitor all the guest components of basically of your VMs. So if you install them or not. So there's a lot of information available there on your guests. A lot of companies opt to not install it because they already monitor it a different way, or they don't really care so much about the guest tools. We also have the hardware management pack. Again, the same story as the VMware guest monitoring. You know, if you're interested in monitoring your hardware through vCenter and also through SCOM, then you can import this management pack. If you already have a solution from your hardware vendor, so from Dell or from HP or something like that, then you probably do not need to run this management pack. We have the core monitoring management pack. So this does most of the monitoring for your vCenter, data centers, ESX hosts, and VMs. And then we also include a lot of pre-canned reports, which you can use in conjunction with all the objects. So like the ESX host or VMs, if you'd like to report on that, the availability or performance. Then we also have a templates management pack, and this is if you want to create custom monitors. For example, if you have custom alerts in vCenter, if you have custom alerts defined in vCenter and you want to create a monitor for that, you can do so through the templates management pack. And a new one we added is vSAN. So now you can also manage your vSAN environment through SCOM. Now there are two more. There's a Opslogix base library MP, which is required for all the management packs we run. It's some basic plumbing. And we also have another one. Basically, this is the monitoring groups. And what you get in the monitoring groups is you can actually scope to the amount you want to monitor. For instance, if you have the hardware management pack installed, usually it only monitors a subset just to save on some resources. But if you want to do full monitoring of your hardware, then you can enable it with these groups. So I wanted to show you how easy it is to import everything. Basically, what you do is you go to the admin pane, you go to management packs, import management packs here, add from disk. Well, we don't need to check dependencies, and we pretty much select all the management packs we want to add here. Now, I'm not really going to import them because, as you can see, we already imported most of them, and that would take quite a long time. And in the scope of a demo, we don't really want to do that. So I'm just going to cancel this because they're already imported. So the next step we would do typically when configuring this is go to the resource pools. And what you can see here is we have a Opslogix resource pool for the VMware management pack. Now, depending on your environment, how big your SCOM environment is and how big your VMware environment is, you can choose to add more management servers or gateway servers to this resource pool. So what we usually do is we have manual membership, and we can view the resource pool members. So we have the demo here. But if you'd like to add additional members, then you can do so here. We can just search, and I think we have a second server here, so you could add that. I'm not going to do that at this moment because it's going to start synchronizing everything, and it probably slowed down the environment which I want to show. So I'm going to cancel out here, but just bear in mind that you can load balance the monitoring load between different management servers, or it can also act as a failover when you want high availability for your monitoring. So the first thing we need to do after that, once you've defined your resource pool, or you can do it, you can still always adjust that, but it's go to your licensing dashboard and import a license key. Well, the license key you receive, you just add in here, and basically when you import it, you see it here, and you see the amount of licenses you have and the expiry date, if there is an expiry date. Usually you buy perpetual licenses, but it's also optional to do annual licenses. So once you imported this, then you're done in your licensing dashboard, and you go to the VMware MP configuration. Now I've already imported a couple of VMware environments. So basically what you need to do here is you need to point towards your vCenter API or your vCenter environment. And usually you have a URL for that, which in our case is the vCenter simulator.contoso.eu. We also have a .com. You need a user in vCenter for that. You can create one which is Active Directory integrated, or you can just create a user which is internal to vCenter, so vCenter specific in its local directory. You need read-only rights, basically to read all the objects in vCenter, so it's a zero-touch policy. You don't need to do anything there. So once you've done that, you can check the connection, and it says connected successfully. Basically what happens when you check the connection, you can also see right here, if you look very closely, and I'm not sure if it goes slow enough, but you can see that once you check the connection, it very quickly also deploys the collector to the appropriate server. So if you have two servers in the resource pool, so the Opslogix VMware Management Pack resource pool, then it'll deploy the collector to those two servers. So once we've done that, we've checked the connection, and we'll do it once more, connect successfully, then the add update button becomes available, and we can do that, and it'll add everything, and if it's already available, then it won't add anything new. And once we've done that, we need to assign, or basically check which ESX hosts we would like to monitor. Now here we have two environments. Again, we have the contoso.com and the contoso.eu environments here, and we're only monitoring this environment. Let's say we just want to remove one server, we can do that. We can uncheck it, update the configuration, and then you also see that the total license count changes. So that's basically it. Once you've done that, you're good to go. You can go to your monitoring pane, and everything should be discovered. Now, the discovery cycles are set to every 8 hours. So basically, before everything is discovered, might take up to 24 hours because they're like the management pack has 3 layers. First, the vCenter objects are discovered, then the data centers are discovered, and after that, only the ESX hosts are discovered, and virtual machines and all the other components. So that takes a while. You can just let it run, and then once that is done, you can see all the components. We can see all the host components here, and you can see, for example, that we have a lot of virtual machines. In our environment, it's a virtual environment as well. But nonetheless, it's all here. If you would like some more information on what is monitored, so all the monitors we have, and basically all the performance counters we collect, I'd encourage you to go to our website. We can give you some more information there about everything that is discovered, which you can monitor. Okay, I think that's about it for this demo. I think I'll give the presentation back to Jeff. Let me do that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Are there any questions? If you have questions, I encourage you to type them into the chat screen. I think Jonas, have you been keeping an eye on that?
Yeah, I've seen that Mike has posted some questions as well. So I can start to discuss them a little bit and see if there's anybody else that has any questions.
Excellent.
I don't think that we can unmute anybody to have audio questions, right?
Correct.
So unfortunately, that's well, we have to use the chat window instead for that, so you know that.
Exactly.
All right. So one question from Mike is that I'm guessing you're using SquareUp today, and if we can have communication picked up in SquareUp's visual application discovery process that automatically maps applications between each other, and that's not anything that we have even investigated actually at this moment. This is the first time. We have seen what it does, but this is the first time that we get questions. So I will reach out to SquareUp just to see how it works and if there is anything that we can do that would actually also discover the underlying virtual machine for the application. So Mike, I will write that down and we will get back to you on that. Another question that we had is if it picks up the F5 load balancer, and I'm guessing that the F5 load balancer runs as a virtual appliance inside of your VMware environment. So it will pick it up as a virtual machine, but nothing more than that. So if there's any need for just monitoring specific F5 stuff, then I would strongly recommend the HiQ solution actually, because that brings in a lot of information about the F5 load balancers. We also have a question about the run as accounts, and we don't use run as accounts in terms of the built-in inside of SCOM, but we do require our own for the connection, and that account and how you set it up, it's also explained in our knowledge base. It's a pretty simple process there, right, Vincent?
Yeah, it's a very simple process to set up the account in vCenter. So like I said before, you can actually set up a local account in vCenter, but if you have Active Directory integrated system, then you can also set up an account there. It's a read-only account, and the thing is, we don't use run as accounts because we don't need any special permissions because we'll proxy it through that user.
Good. We also have a question here if we only pull the vCenter alerts or if we can pull alerts from, I guess it's VROPs, because the vCenter alerts are poor indications in larger enterprises. I think that, Vincent, there have been some investigations towards VROPs, I think, but I think it's also important to understand that the management pack that we have created and is to actually bring information to primarily first and second tier of engineers, the ones who's working inside of the IT operations. So they keep a track of the holistic perspective, and usually when there is other problems that is a little bit deeper down on third level, that's when the people using tools like VROPs or other solutions, they already know about this. So that's where we actually have put our effort on to have a good product as possible at a good pricing point.
Yeah, basically. Oh, sorry, Jonas.
Yeah, please feel free to assist me a little bit with those.
Yeah, no, basically what we monitor at this point in time is we don't have a VROPS connector, but what we do is at this point, we already included the part of the Horizons monitors for vSAN, and we plan to implement more. I would have to go to the dev team to see which ones we implemented already, but we're doing that. And we also, on the roadmap, is to include appliance monitoring. So any appliance you add to vCenter, you would also be able to monitor.
Yeah, and it's the Skyline, right? Not the Horizon. Or
sorry, yeah, Skyline.
Skyline. I think that if I do remember correctly, that everything that we have set up is against the vCenter APIs, and I think that the VROPS API is completely different than the communication channels that we have configured today. So that's just from what I remember from the investigations.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see if there's any other questions coming up.
Anything else? Any other questions?
No, not at this moment. We'll see if there's anybody else. I think that also worth mentioning is that in our latest release, of course, we added support. The first one to add support for the new vSphere 7, and that's when we added the vSON capabilities for vSON 7. And also when it comes to the new features of Kubernetes and containers inside of the vSphere environment, that's also something that we have been working with heavily. So it's not in the release, the upcoming months, but at least there is something that we have started to work on. And if there's any interest when it comes to these containers, please reach out to us and let us know.
Excellent. Last call for questions. Anyone have anything else you want to ask? We've got Jonas and Vincent on the line.
Let's see. I think we have one more question. And to be honest, there is a question about the differences between our management pack and VMview. I've heard the names come up before, but I am not honestly completely familiar with the product itself. So I think that we do need to get back on that question. Do you know, Vincent, what VMview is?
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I would have to get back to that. Maybe if it would be something similar like Skyline, but maybe if you could elaborate on that a little bit, then we'd be able to help you.
Okay.
Wait.
Any other questions? How are we looking, Jonas? Is that it for questions right now?
Yeah, I'm still looking at the question. You can see the questions, Jeff, or?
I cannot, I'm afraid.
Okay, so the question from Joseph about the VMview, it's the web interface for ESX, and that have a map offered in it. I think that that question, we need to take a look a little bit about which map, and we can of course reach out to you, Joseph, afterwards to be a little bit more specific about the questions you do have, so you will get the correct answer. So we will stay in touch with you, so you know about that question. And also the question is if we do have a virtual machine license option. So instead of licensing per host, if we do have it on the virtual machine instead, we don't have it on as an offer at the moment, but as you might know, we are pretty flexible. So if that would be a solution that you would consider, please reach out to Jeff or us, and we will make sure to see how we can actually set that up. Okay, so we have, I think there, Mike, you're saying that the Opslogix VMware MP will monitor VMware Horizon View ESXis and the guests if you have SCOM agent installed. So I'm not sure if that is related to VMware View or the Horizon part. But, I think that we will reach out and make sure that you will have the correct answers to the questions. I know that Jeff, you will do a follow-up on this after the event, and we will assist with the correct answers to each of your questions.
Absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. All right, we can wait a couple of minutes to see if there's any other question coming in. And if you have anything else you would like to add to this, Jeff, or
while we wait for more questions, I'll just mention that yeah, we will follow up with answers to questions, and I will also follow up with everyone that attended to share my contact information. And if you need to get in touch with us, I think the best way to do that is to go through me, Jeff, Jefft at silect.com. But like I said, I will reach out to everyone with contact information after we wrap up.
Perfect. And also worth mentioning is that if you see any features that you really want to have in the product, we have request-driven development. So if there's anything that you would like to see that's missing in the product today, you can always send that in and ask, and we will see if there's anything that we can implement in the short future. So otherwise, I would like to thank for me, and thank you all for attending. Thank you, Jeff and Vincent.
Yes, thank you for excellent presentation, and thanks to all that joined today. We will be sending out the survey and the link to the recording after this. If you have any questions, again, reach out, Jefft at silect.com, and we hope to see you on a future webcast down the road. Everyone have a great day. Thanks.